Thank you for listening to Lone Star Community Radio. This program was broadcasted and recorded live from the LSCR studios in downtown Conroe, Texas. Lone Star Community Radio is supported by listeners like you. Donate and sponsor today. For more information on getting involved with Lone Star Community Radio, contact us at lscrstudios@gmail.com or visit us online at www.irlonestar.com.
Bringing in the new year with your favorite radio friends, it's the AOO Show on Conroe's 106.1 and 104.5 FM, streaming on irlonestar.com and available wherever you get your podcast from. I am Andrew, next to the man who thinks that self-service checkouts are for baskets only. It's Dick. I prefer New Year's over Christmas. Schisler.
Oh, yeah.
Happy New Year, buddy. Happy New Year.
What's up?
2024 is here, baby.
Yeah.
And we didn't miss a single episode. You know, a lot of shows, podcasts included, took time off for the holidays, but not us.
That's because I don't have anybody anymore.
No, I just mean in general.
You always
got
to bring it up.
No. I just, not this, just this station. All over the place. What do you mean you don't have anybody anymore? You have a phenomenal lineup. What are you talking about?
I do.
Of which we spearhead, by the way.
Oh, you know what? I didn't mention to you is over Christmas, we did the 300 Bowl holiday party.
Uh-huh.
And I took my mother, because my mother's never met anybody at the bowling alley. Has never... What are you doing?
Don't worry about it.
Okay. Well, are you messing with my table, dog? Oh, he broke my table.
I'm back.
But she's never been to the bowling alley. So I was like, okay, cool, you can come. And you'll meet people, have some drinks and food, and meet everybody. And then I bowled a 300 in front of her. So that
I saw that. Now, it wasn't quite a...
It was a no-tap 300.
No-tap 300, but you had the back 10 natural strikes, buddy. Way to go.
Oh, yeah. And my mom, my mom doesn't really understand bowling. So when I did that, I was like, I just got a 300, and she goes, is that good? And I was like, yeah.
Well, see, the object of the game, Mom, is to knock down all the pins, of which I just did every time.
Yeah,
so, that's a good thing.
Yeah,
funny.
I started laughing and all, and what was hilarious was on the last throw, I turned around and I go, hey, Mom, this is for you. And then I throw it.
Oh, that's like pointing to the grandstands, like Babe Ruth before home run.
There's an opportunity. I'm going to
so
take
wish
it.
you just would have gone right through the face and split. That would have been great.
No. And I hit it, and I turn around, and she's on her phone.
It's so great.
And I go, Mommy, did you not see that? I felt like I was 5 years old again. Mommy, did you not watch me?
Mom, did you see that?
And she goes, no, I saw it. That's great. And I'm like, I got a 300. Is that good?
That does remind me, I had a bowling accomplishment similar to that years ago. I picked up the 7-10 split. For those of you who do not know what that is, it's the two pins in the corner. Picked it up, expecting to hear cheers, raucous roar, because it's a fairly rare thing to do.
That's even more rare than a 300.
Absolutely it is. Absolutely. And I turn around to dead silence, and everybody's on their phone. And one dude about 3 lanes down looks over and goes, I saw it. Good job. And that was it. I'm like, dang,
this
man.
bud's for you, or whatever that theme song. There you go. For the guy who had the 710, but no one cared.
No one saw. That's right. This bud's for you. Well,
This bud's
man,
for you.
last week's show was awesome. The Beer Mile guys were phenomenal.
What a way to end the year,
right? That's pretty
to interview
cool,
those
man.
guys. I was really hoping, I was really worried about a lot of the stuff I said. So I want to apologize to anyone carrying over from that episode that is a competitor. I was joking about the doping. That's a joke. I'm sorry that lady got in trouble, and she's in the movie.
You were awfully interested in the doping aspect. I'll say that much.
Well, because
bro, let it go.
No, it's not that. I think what I'm interested in is like the idea
skirting the rules.
Not skirting the rules. It's more of all the technology is getting so much better and better and better, because a lot of people who don't know anything about doping, they think, oh, it's literally that steroid bottle that you put in a needle and you inject in your butt.
Yeah, that's the kind I do anyway.
But no, it's so much more complex than that, and it's going to get even more complex.
It's an art form in and of itself.
But then there's also other stuff that I would consider doping, but a lot of people don't. It's like all that recovery stuff.
Can you imagine how good at radio you would be if you doped?
Dude.
Unbelievable.
I could do the tonsil stuff.
I'm sorry.
Whatever it's called. Like
you should put that on your Tinder profile.
No, you can do that. I saw a guy basically had a high-pitched voice. He talked like this all the time. So they would do injections in his throat, and it would slow down something, and so he could talk like this. Well, he has a draw naturally when you slow it down. But no, what I'm saying is like those people who do like they go to GNC and they spend like $500 a month.
Sure.
And not just on vitamins.
Yeah, supplements.
It's like the workout
creatine.
Stuff. Wouldn't that be like the recovery pills? Like that's not all natural.
I don't know.
Wouldn't that be considered doping?
I mean, some of them have been banned. Some of those substances have been banned. Not everything you can find in GNC is allowed for competitive.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I don't know. I mean, again, I don't know.
At least as far as I know. I think there's still some of those andro-type fuels.
I wonder if they put it on the bottle.
They might.
It's like,
I think the very favorite thing.
If you're an Olympic athlete, don't take this.
I think on every single bottle of whatever it is in GNC or whatever store that's similar to that, it says not approved by the FDA, right? I think Food and Drug Administration has not approved these. I think that's on just about every.
I think steroids are approved by the FDA.
Right, sure they are.
Yeah, they are.
Well, I will say this about steroid use.
They're prescribed by a doctor.
They're right, and steroid use now, it's so rampant, especially like in bodybuilding. They have doctors that do this for them, and it's administered very, very carefully. So it's not like your buddy injecting you in your ass, in the gym locker room like it used to be. It was extremely dangerous. It's still dangerous, but it's much more regulated now and monitored. These guys have it down to a science. It's not nearly as dangerous as it, used to be. But they're all juicing. They're all jacked up. But again, I think you would be a phenomenal juiced up broadcast. You come in here with your huge forehead. Oh, look at me!
Man, it's just always quick to anger all the time.
Yeah. God, a few weeks ago you were so mad at me because I missed a story. A little bit of show cleanup here. By the way, I went back and listened to that episode, and I'm just going along with it. And you're giving me crap about, missing a link in the story. You couldn't find it. It was literally the second link. Like, all you had to do was look down, I don't know, a half inch on the run sheet, and there's the story I'm referring to. But whatever.
Well, I will let you know what kind of person I am. You know how they always say, like,
yes,
when you hit somebody and then you kick them when they're down?
Mm-hmm.
I'm also the person who walks into the room. If you're already down, I'm going to start kicking you.
Right?
So I'm not the one that knocked you down. I'll be that person just like,
join in. That looks fun.
This guy's already down. Let's get him. Have you ever been in a bar fight?
All of them.
All the bar fights I've been in, I've never been directly involved. I just see someone get punched on the ground, and then I just start kicking that person.
But there was one bar fight that I was sort of an ancillary partner to, and it was really kind of funny. There were these two guys, and I don't know who they were, but I'd seen them in this bar several times, and I knew they were friends. They knew each other, and they're hammered, and they start fighting right next to me. And so instinctually, you kind of go, hey, man, hey, you kind of to break it up. And what I did inadvertently was actually hold this guy's arms back from defending himself while his buddy pummeled him 2 or 3 times before I went, oh, sorry, man, I think I'm not helping here at all.
Well, one thing I've learned in the life that I've lived is never get involved in anyone else's business.
Okay. Words to live by.
Like, even if they're screaming help. You can get sued.
Yeah, you can, especially these days.
So.
Yeah. I mean, that was the last episode of Seinfeld, right? They watched a crime occur, and then that was their actual crime because they didn't want to get involved. Words to live by.
Yeah. It's kind of funny how the world works.
So I had this interesting thing happen to me while I was Christmas shopping weeks ago, and everywhere I went, I was setting off the alarms at the entrances of the stores. I'd walk into a store, and the alarm would go off, and I'm like, whoa. And the first time it happened, I was kind of walking in simultaneously with a group of people, and I thought maybe it was the group in front of me. So I didn't think anything of it. As I walk through this department store to get into the mall, I walk out by myself, and the alarm goes off again. I'm like, no, it was definitely me. Weird. And the people look at me, I'm like, I don't have anything. And then it happened 2 or 3 more times.
Yeah, white cis male alert.
Yes, the alarms were going off. Trust me.
I can't bend over and pick something up.
Yeah, I did hurt myself the previous week. That was bad, man. That was bad.
Maybe it was detecting the cancer in you.
Oh, let's hope. Oh, don't say that.
What?
Detecting the cancer. Anywho, so
would you want it to detect your cancer?
I suppose so. I guess you're right. Right. And it goes on. You're like, well, at least there's that. No, but it went off in several different stores, and I thought it was pretty strange. Didn't think much about it. Well, about a week later.
Oh. Is that what you were grabbing over there?
Yeah, hold on. Don't blow the lead here. I was walking out of Kroger, and the alarm went off again. I stopped. I'm like, what the heck is going on? And this lady says, oh, hey, did you just recently buy that hat? Because I was wearing a hat. And I said,
Is it the hat you're wearing right now?
and I said reflexively, no, I didn't buy that hat. And then she said, oh, well, sometimes they put those little things inside the hat and you can't see them. So, okay, thanks. And as I'm walking to my car, I start thinking about it. I'm like, wait, what hat am I wearing? Hey, wait, I did just buy this hat. And as it turns out, this little doohickey was inside the hat. I'd been wearing it for a couple of weeks, and I was setting off every alarm.
Yes. I know exactly what I'm going to do with this.
Yeah. Oh, no, I just aided some sort of prank, didn't I? Inadvertently. Dang it. You're going to bury that on somebody, and they're going to walk
Better
through.
watch yourself.
Oh, no.
So let me ask you, why are you wearing a Bronco hat? Do you have a Bronco?
No, I don't need to now because I have the hat. It's much cheaper. I'm frugal that way. No, I just saw the hat and thought it was pretty cool, man.
It does look pretty cool, but people are going to ask you if you have a Bronco.
You know what? You're right. I'm just going to lie to them and be like, yep.
I would too.
Yep, got two of them, in fact. No, that's
too
too much.
Too much.
Too
You
much.
just say, yeah, I got one. It was cool.
Yeah.
It's cool.
But do I have an old one or a new one?
No, just all you got to do is just say it came with the car.
Brilliant.
And
Brilliant.
then-
Yeah,
and
they throw those in when you buy a Bronco. Such a flex.
No, I wouldn't emphasize the flex. I'd just be like, yeah, I just came with the car, so I just wear it. Like it's
Just so cash.
It's just a hat.
Ultra cash. Okay.
Yeah, you don't want to show off.
I just thought it was a cool hat.
Speaking of
I like
showing
the
off,
colors.
you know what I'm really excited about?
Yes, sir?
I'm pretty sure we talked about my brother selling my smoker.
I don't think we talked about that on air.
Okay, all our conversations are blending.
Yeah,
together.
it is kind of hard actually to keep up with what we've talked about on air and off air.
So, long story short, my brother
Is
sold
that naked
my
story
side
on
loader.
air or off air? I can't remember.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Well, hey. He scrapped my side loader at our family has some land over near us, and I kept my side loader, a trailer smoker, and the elements got to it, and he felt it was ugly, so he scrapped it. He said, and I go to his birthday party, his 50th birthday party, and I made a joke because it was a surprise. So I was meeting all his friends before Billy got there, and I was like, "Can you believe this guy? He scrapped my the side loader, like because I cooked for these guys before on it." And he's like, oh, he didn't scrap that. He sold that to Gus. And I was like, who's Gus? And Gus is like,
That's me.
he like raises his
I'm
hand.
the guy with the smoker.
And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, I fixed it up. It wasn't really that bad. And I'm like, I knew it wasn't that bad. And he's like, yeah, I smoked all this food on it. And I was like, oh, man. Well, anyway, I told my brother, I go, you're going to have to make this up for me.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I don't. He's an older brother, so he can kind of do whatever he
Yeah, he
wants.
does whatever he wants.
He bullied me when we were growing up. And I was like, no, you're going to get me one of those butt buckles and belts that the inmates make. Because he works, he's a sheriff, and he does stuff with the inmates over there. And they make leather goods.
Right.
And you can purchase them from them. And I was like, you're going to get me a custom butt buckle with my initials on it, and I'm going to get a belt too. And what's great about this is he's still asking me for the money. And so what I told, because this is going to become a family thing. Like my parents are going to be like, stop talking about. I kind of fished him a little bit. I'm fishing him right now. So basically, I said I'll pay you back when I get it. Like I want to see it. And so, but I'm never going to pay him back, ever. And I want to.
Let's hope he doesn't listen to the show.
Oh no, he. I know he doesn't because we're not talking about guns or police.
Yeah.
Or that's his or hunting. That's his.
Yeah,
thing.
that's his thing. Got it.
Or selling brothers smokers.
Well, we even talked about the sinkhole out by his house, though.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, that's my
Okay.
long-term plan. I'm gonna be like, yeah, thanks, man. Thanks. Just never pay him back. And I love being. I'm very close with all my family, so it's not like we hate each other. But it's gonna be an ongoing joke where he's gonna be like, hey, you never pay me that XYZ, and I'm like, oh yeah, sorry, I'll get it to you. I'll get it to you, and just never do it. And then when he finally gets mad, I'm like, you sold my smoker.
Just drop it in.
Yeah.
You know, at the unfortunate
But I'm
event,
not,
should one of your
but I'm not gonna drop it until I get the belt.
relatives pass, you're there at the funeral and be like, I want my smoker. And you start it right there at the most inappropriate time.
The challenge is going to be getting my hands on the belt without paying them. Because depending on what we're doing, because I go out there and help him out there, because he actually has a roping arena. I helped him build a roping arena out there. It's a wild,
Hey,
it's a
cool.
fun time. And so I got to get the hands on the belt,
Right.
and I got to put it on, and then that's when I can say I'm not paying him back.
Right. At that point, he's not going to take that belt off of you.
Well, he's probably
I'd like to see you try.
He can,
I'd like to see you try.
I can. We're gonna get in a fight. It's
Yeah.
gonna be great.
Yeah, it's going to be
I
like
can't
you're-
wait till the next audience to win story. I'll be like, hey,
Yeah.
there's a reason I have a black eye.
be like y'all are children again. Dick, what kind of sneezer are you? Are you one of these guys that sort of
Oh,
holds
man.
in a sneeze,
So this
or do
is-
you just let it
I
rip?
let it rip. Two things about sneezing.
Yeah.
I let it rip.
And now, 2 things about sneezing with
And
Dick.
when I dip, I've never really experienced like the hold in sneeze. I don't know how anyone does it. Because it's almost like you're getting hit with a football helmet on, like tackling somebody.
Yeah, the compression.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh my God. Oh, people do that?
Yeah.
No.
I don't
I'm waiting
dip.
for something to come out of another
Right,
hole.
of some orifice, right? I don't dip. I don't do any of that. But I imagine if I had a sneeze, I'd have one of those packets fly out of my face.
I don't want to choke it. And I don't want to.
Have you ever like sneezed and shot one of those packets, your dip packets across the
I've
room?
definitely sneezed while I had a good spit out, but I didn't time it correctly, so my body got confused. So I was
And you farted.
I was like, I don't want to swallow it. What do I do? And then it kind of like bubbled out, and I was like, man, I'm an idiot. I'm a garbage person. And it was a great moment because I had to clean myself up.
Oh yeah, yeah, and you're
I
all
think it was in my
embarrassed. You're
car.
embarrassed for yourself.
I think I was in my car too, so like I had to focus while driving. While I'm like, man, if someone saw me, they'd be like, "This guy is hitting rock bottom real fast."
I've tried all different kinds of techniques. Sometimes they just sneak up on you and you can't like control. Wah! And it's just loud.
That's just.
But I have actually tried the holding in, and it kind of hurts, whatever.
Okay, let me ask you this.
But I've also tried where you just exhale all of your right as you feel one coming. So when you do sneeze, you can't. There's not a lot
there's
to
a
admit
technique.
at that point.
There's
And-
a legit technique. You
and
know what it is?
yeah, oh no, what is it?
You put your tongue
Like
around the mouth
this,
and
like this, like
Right.
this.
But yeah, you put your tongue to the roof of your mouth, but you have to hold it. Like it's something. You might as well just sneeze when you're doing all that. But let me ask you this: have you ever known anybody that sneezes obnoxiously loud?
Oh yeah. And I think it's the older you get, the louder your sneeze gets
my
too.
grandmother. Ever
See?
since I've known her, it's like an alarm went off in the room,
What is
and
that?
and I'm thinking to myself like she has to be doing that on purpose. Like there's no way.
I've asked somebody who was a loud sneezer before if they're doing it on purpose, and they'll swear to you, no, this is just the way I sneeze. And I think it's probably actually more healthy to do it that way. I don't think it's good to try and suppress that. I mean, your body's doing it on purpose.
I did that every gas I got. Like if I needed to, I toot. If I need a burp, I burp.
Have you ever heard? This is an old study. I think I heard it a long time ago that sneezing is 1/8 of an orgasm. You may have to look that one up.
Again with your list, you're like
I heard this a long time ago. I don't know if it's actually true or not, but I heard that. I'll have to maybe
well,
for next
actually,
week.
it makes more sense because it happens really quickly. So
Quickly,
I mean,
and it feels good after you sneeze sometimes. Although if you sneeze a bunch,
Not when
it's a law of diminishing returns there. The first one's good, second one not so great. By the time you get to the fourth or fifth, you just want to stop sneezing.
Okay.
Well, in the first case known of its kind, a man tore a small hole in his windpipe
I told
after
you.
attempting to hold in a sneeze. The odd event occurred while he was driving his car and experienced a bout of hay fever.
that gives me nightmares now.
Oh, he suddenly felt the overwhelming urge to sneeze, but instead of letting the sneeze loose, oh my God, I can't. He stifled it by pinching his nose and closing his mouth, which you see people do commonly, and it kind of comes out as a. Well, apparently in doing that, he blew out his windpipe. Oh,
I believe it.
my God. It said that the pressure was so great that the tear was 0.08 inch by 0.08 inch. That is nasty. I can't imagine that is wickedly painful too. Because as soon as it happens, you go, uh-oh, something just went terribly wrong here. Oh, and there's a picture of his X-ray there. You can actually see where
sneeze?
Yeah, man. Well, the X-ray of his throat.
I mean, I had a buddy whose lung collapsed. I don't think it was. He was driving, and I think he might have sneezed.
Yeah,
I don't know what he was.
that's called a pneumothorax.
Cool.
Yeah.
But yeah. Sneezing. Let me guess. The next topic you want to do is tooting.
No, sir. This is a story about, this is from the New York Post, a story about a 10-year-old boy in the UK who wants to ban the offensive, quote, offensive nerd emoji. Are you familiar with the nerd emoji?
Is it the guy with the buck teeth and the glasses?
It is. You must use this one quite a bit.
I don't use emojis.
Well, this
I
little,
still,
you
I
need
still
to.
do the semicolon smile.
Oh, and sometimes they autocorrect to an emoji.
No, I actually got in a discussion with a group we're in, and they're like, "Can you stop doing that?" And I go, "Are you really that upset that I put a winky face, not an emoji? Like, why would you be?"
Oh, but they wouldn't have cared if it was an emoji.
That's what I'm saying. I was like,
Oh,
you're like, get with the
weird.
times. I'm like, I don't.
Yeah, because that semicolon does really look like a.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it. I like it. You can use them in our chats. I'm
Yeah.
okay with it. Thank you.
Winky face.
In a bid to promote inclusivity and challenge stereotypes, 10-year-old boy named Teddy from England has initiated a campaign urging Apple to redesign its nerd face emoji.
To what?
Well, he's actually drawn a proposed new emoji, and I'm sorry, Teddy, yours is not very good. But what I think is really funny about this
I want
is
to pull this up.
this little boy looks strangely like the emoji. I'm sorry, Teddy.
Well, maybe
but-
that's what he doesn't like.
And that's exactly why he doesn't like it. He's not helping himself out at all. I use emojis every now and again, but I don't use this one. In fact, I had to search on my phone to see if I even had it. And it's there. I thought maybe it was a UK thing. So yes, Teddy, and I don't know if you're showing this to our
I'm trying
viewers.
to get the bigger version of it.
Yes.
These websites you choose, I just don't trust, man.
Well, they're all pretty shady. So
You can't really see it, but
he has provided an alternative to Apple to use, and it still has the glasses, but instead of the buck teeth,
it's smaller. Why
it's
would I
got a
click on it and want a
small
smaller image?
little smile instead.
What kind of website is this, man? I click on it and it gives me a smaller
Yeah,
image.
that doesn't make any sense. Yeah, that's terrible website design, no doubt.
Yeah, the city's going to call me like, what are you doing?
It's the New York Post. Come on.
Oh, the Line New York Post.
Yes, reflecting on his campaign, Teddy said, if Apple took my ideas on board, it would feel amazing, and I would be so excited. Well, little Teddy, I hope you get your wish
guess.
and they remove the nerd emoji. I'm sorry you're so
Well, they're not
offended
removing,
by
they're replacing.
Yeah, that's true. That's
There's
true.
a difference.
But here's my thing: is like when you saw that,
They haven't removed
why did
the
he
eggplant,
immediately
right?
think? Oh, dude, I hope they don't ever remove the eggplant.
That's one thing I love about the emoji thing. It's like different societies will take it to the next level and be like, hey, we're going to use this emoji as for male genitalia.
That's what it's used for.
Yeah.
Oh, I use it for cooking. Wow, that's a good idea.
Well, I had a bad joke and I didn't want to say it.
I hadn't thought about using it in that way. That's great. Thanks for the ideas.
Well, I'm trying to keep you up on your fatherhood.
Thanks,
you want to
man.
make sure everyone's using. You understand what your daughter's saying all the time, and
Yeah. So I hope she's not using the eggplant emoji.
what's
you
the
ever-
other, what's the other emoji for the lady?
I don't know.
Peach.
A peach, I guess. I don't know.
Nice.
Yeah, there you go.
Man, peach sounds pretty good right now, like an actual peach.
Okay, so it does it now.
Farm to table.
Moving on. Have you ever been on an airplane, Dick, looked out the window and gone,
Man, we're high.
man, no, this is, well, yeah, I'm going to say we're on the ground at this point.
Okay.
And just looked out at the wing and thought, that thing looks pretty cool. I want to walk on it.
Like the wing?
Yeah, you've ever thought about just walking out on the wing of an airplane or imagine yourself chilling out,
I did like.
smoking a doob?
I like the idea of those old school daredevils
Yeah,
who would like put
the
their
wing
feet-
walkers.
Yeah, see that was
They would,
that was kind of cool.
I guess they clamped their feet in,
Or like a
right?
slide or something. You can slide in because they have to be able to move to get up and down.
Yeah,
so that,
I have seen that. It's usually on like the bi-wing planes.
Yeah.
Wow, I wouldn't want to do that. But I have often wondered what it would be like to just kind of walk on out there onto the wing. Well, a man did this a few weeks ago on a Southwest airline flight. Well, it wasn't in flight. Again, it was on the ground. But he was arrested after allegedly jumping out of an emergency hatch on a Southwest Airlines flight bound to New Orleans, climbing out onto the wing's plane. The wing's plane. Good God. The plane's wing and attempted to run away as the aircraft was preparing to take off. So this guy got to live my dream.
I
That'd be
mean,
amazing.
that's not that amazing.
It's amazing.
I've done it, so it's not that amazing. I got to go in that B-52 bomber, dude, or B-17. I got to do whatever
Really?
I want. Yeah.
I do what I want.
Well, that's the benefit of being a great person.
I've
I've
heard about that.
You can ask them, like, can I do this? Like, I don't see why not. And I'm like,
You're not allowed to drive a tractor, but you can go out on the wing of a B-52 bomber.
well, it depends on the
Something's-
tractor.
Something's not here. Well, that's true. Some of them are.
And plus, Kurt knows who I am, so he knows I'll probably hit something that I shouldn't be hitting,
It's true.
and I appreciate that.
How do the wheels look on your car, by the way? Are you one of those guys that hits curbs?
Oh,
Are you one of
no.
those curb guys?
No,
Road rash or curb rash?
I know the proximity of my vehicle.
Very
so-
good. Way to go. Well, your new vehicle might be a little bit bigger. Those Cybertrucks are pretty wide, so you need to make sure that
I feel like it's a killing machine when, because it's funny. I was listening to a review of the Cybertruck, like the
Uh-huh.
and they were talking about there might be a potential issue globally with the Cybertruck because the front bumper
Oh, I heard others.
doesn't.
Okay.
The front bumper doesn't have. It's steel. So apparently, there's some laws for residential cars that they have to have some lack of resistance. I don't know what the term is. So basically, when you hit somebody, it absorbs, so it doesn't
Impact.
kill the.
Oh, yeah. And it's
kill-
already 9,000 pounds.
So yeah,
and goes 0 to 60 in like 2.5 seconds.
Yeah, so that's what they're saying is it's supposed to help absorb the cushioning and get
Right.
rid of the force.
Right.
So this Cybertruck
Does not have
It's
that.
just a rolling death machine for other people, not for you. So if anything, what you should do if you're smart is
Yeah.
buy one, wait for the apocalypse, and get like the solar panels.
Uh-huh.
And then there you go. You're good. You can kill
Just
everybody,
Kill all the zombies.
but only for like 300 miles. And then
You're right. And then you got to recharge. But again, the zombies won't be able to get you because that glass is bulletproof.
well, not bulletproof. I mean, you're just already killing them, going 0 to 100.
Well,
Kind of like that guy running over those sheep. Have you seen that video?
no.
There's like a truck driver just
God.
just murdering like 100 sheep.
No,
It
I
was
don't. I don't
awesome.
want to watch that. Actually, I did hear, like we said, that they have released them out to the general public, but at this point, there's only like 12 of them that are on the road right now. So
I don't understand that. They're kind of what's funny to me about them too
I thought there was
is
more of them.
it's a fingerprint thing.
To start the car or something?
No, like the steel they use is that kind of steel that if you touch it, like it leaves fingerprints.
Oh, how annoying!
And so I'm thinking to myself,
Like a refrigerator?
yeah,
Oh.
very similar. And so I was thinking to myself, like, how many people are going to screw with other Cybertrucks? Like, if I was, yeah, I'd be like,
Put your thumbprint all over
put a
it.
little smiley face, put a little. Because I told you that story about.
That's a little bit better than shooting at it. That's good. Let's hope that's the
no
new
one's
TikTok
gonna shoot
trend.
it. If it happens, that's gonna be like a one-off, man.
I sure hope so.
So
Or throw something at it. It doesn't have to be a shotgun or whatever, or a gun shot, but you watch, it's going to happen.
well, I mean, Joe Rogan shot a bow and arrow at it,
And it bounced off.
and it bounced off. That's pretty funny. But no, I'd noticed that because that was a lot of the reviews and the detail. Everyone's like, yeah, it's a fingerprint magnet. So I was like, that's got to be the worst vehicle to own because most people who spend that kind of money are like, I
Yeah.
like my car,
Clean.
and it's like,
Can't get
yeah.
rid of these fingerprints.
Yeah. If my brother got one, I would tell all the grandkids, nieces and nephews, like, go touch that car. And so imagine like the creepiness of all these little handprints all around. Is like, what's this guy doing with all these kids? Why are they like trying to get in?
Oh, man.
But yeah, it looks pretty cool though. I mean, I'd drive it.
I know you would.
So
I know you would.
I'm excited about my truck. It's not a Cybertruck, but it's a truck.
It's more fun to pretend that
More
it
of a
is, though.
car.
Yeah. It's more fun to pretend that you are getting a Cybertruck. Hey, do you remember, since this is New Year's time, it got me thinking back to the year 2000.
Yeah, Y2K,
and all
baby.
the Y2K craziness that went on. Do you remember
Mm-hmm.
all the hysteria that was associated with the Y2K? Of course, if you don't know what I'm referring to, obviously a lot of the old
I think it was
school
legit.
software.
I think it was
well,
a
no, there absolutely.
Yeah.
A lot of the software that was written back in the 1900s only would use the last 2 digits of the year in their code to save space, to save memory, et cetera, et cetera. So there would just be a 99. And the fear was at the year 2000, when it rolled over from 1999 to 2000, software would stop operating appropriately. And there was going to be mass pandemonium and mass chaos, especially at like banking systems and institutions.
Skynet would probably be launched afterwards.
Right. Donald Trump would be elected president. Crazy stuff would happen, right? And so there was a lot of...
My joke was so much better. That was the lamest thing. Donald Trump be president of America.
well, no one would have thought that back in 1999.
He literally said it. He would run for president.
In 1999?
No, I think like in the 80s.
Oh, okay. Well, I take it back. Edit it out in post. And there was a lot of work that was done to prepare systems for Y2K. So I think in retrospect, looking back on it, the joke is, well, nothing really happened. Well, we did a lot of preparation for it. But I thought it was interesting. I looked it up to see if there actually was some real life incidences that occurred during Y2K. And I found a few. Nothing crazy, though. But it says after Y2K, U.S. spy satellites stopped working for a few days. Maybe this is where the Chinese got the balloon idea for. We'll just go low tech.
See, this is why I think the moon landing was fake.
Absolutely was.
Yeah, I mean,
Continue.
if they knew,
Continue
if,
speaking truth, brother.
if they knew they needed to fix those computers in the satellites, they would have just easily flown up there and done some spacewalking.
But what happened during those few days? We'll never know. See? They stopped working.
Is that when Gaddafi got kind of like destroyed?
Who?
Gaddafi?
Yeah, what about him?
Was that around that time?
I don't remember. On Y2K, some poor person got charged over $91,000 for renting the general's daughter. I like these types of stories. So I guess this was back when Blockbuster and rental places such as that were popular, and people would rent a movie. They rented it over the new year, and they were charged 91 grand. Of course, we're probably being 100 years late or something like that.
Yeah. You know what's funny to me is that concept of late stuff. So, like, for example, if you go or paying a penalty for late stuff, if you go to the Montgomery County Library, which I go, that's how I read my books. I'd never buy.
He's
books.
there all the time. Everyone. Every time I call him, he's like, "Hey, I'm at the library again, reading."
No, legit.
Can't keep him out of there.
And I always wondered. I asked the lady because I see her probably like every 2 weeks. I was like, I go, do people actually pay their late fees? Because it cannot be that much money. Like you're talking like 10 cents when it's late or something like that.
A day compounded every nanosecond.
I know, but it's not like what you think is obscene because it's the county library. They're like, oh, she even said like if it becomes an issue, then they'll work a deal out. Like where it's like, hey, just give us $100. Like,
$100.
So I mean, like not like if they have $1 million owed, but what got me thinking was Blockbuster. And video places like that. And I wonder if the corporate people were like, hey, this year we're definitely shutting down, guys. Like, it's going to happen. But I want you to pay attention to this byline on the report. We have over $28 million owed. What are we going to do to collect that before we tell people we're closing? Because once you tell people you're closing, they're never going to pay it.
Right.
So I wonder how that conversation went. And I wonder how much money they like put into recouping that money.
I don't know. I haven't had a late fee in so long at a Blockbuster or a library. I couldn't even tell you how much they are. I think they're usually just a couple of bucks.
Because if I remember correctly in Blockbuster, if you were late to a certain degree, you couldn't rent there anymore.
Oh, yeah. They had your picture up behind the counter. Do not rent to this man. It's a big picture of Dick.
Well, you needed your card. They scan it.
Yeah. I still have my old school Blockbuster card.
But I don't really remember them doing anything like to your credit or something. It's not like they try to destroy your credit.
You know, I'm going to have to look that up because I bet you at a certain point, especially with videos, video fees seem to be a little bit more than library fees. I bet you they might turn you into...
Because at the very beginning of that rental service...
Your Debbie Does Dallas is super late.
Well, like,
it's racking up fees.
Betas and VHSs were expensive.
Yeah.
Like, they were like $40.
Yeah, the actual tape themselves.
Yeah, this is like very at the end, Laserdisc and stuff. So I was like,
Laserdisc.
Like, how do they protect that? And but whatever. I thought it was pretty funny because they lost all that money, I bet, but it was never really theirs to begin with because no one's really on the honor code. No one cares about honor.
Not anymore.
Everyone cares about cheating and stealing and doping, dude.
Y2K caused a newborn to be registered
peaches
as 100 years old. Thought that's kind of funny. And then, of course, a lot of people were stuck with their Y2K survival kits. I'm like, what is entailed in a Y2K survival kit? But we got battery-free flashlights, blankets, waterproof matches, all the stuff you need at the end of the world. All right, this is a pretty good time to take a break. Everybody, when we come back, we're going to have a few stories about inmates and what they're up to these days. Audience One Show. Audience of One, Wednesdays at 10 a.m. right here on Conroe's 106.1 and 104.5. Listen to the brain droppings of local hosts, me, Andrew Belshner, along with the jewel of Montgomery County radio, Dick Schisler. Topical musings, news stories, oddities, or just weird conversations that we normally have with ourselves, all mixed together with the occasional guest. You can also find us on Facebook, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts.
All right, we're back to the second half of Audience of One here on Lone Star Community Radio. Thank you so much for hanging out with us so far. We're here every Wednesday at 10 a.m. with a new show on podcast, YouTube, Facebook, Lone Star Community Radio. Just look up Audience of One or Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1. We are a nonprofit radio station, so we always ask if you enjoy this content, then feel free to donate our sponsor, Audience of One. You can visit us online at our show page, irlonestar.com/ALL. So onesies, it is the new year. We're excited about this year. We don't really have any goals for Audience of One because if you can see on your screen, Andrew doesn't know where the article is that he wanted to talk about. He's already basically disoriented going into the second half of the show. I'm trying to keep talking while he's figuring out. I do want to let listeners who did not listen to last week's episode check it out. We learned about the beer mile, and I think those guys are actually very cool. I was really hoping they were going to be
friendly guys.
I was hoping they're going to be kind of stuck up and stuff, because people who run, to me, I think they have a screw loose because you're running.
Yeah, for long distances too. They do it all. Short distances, long distances.
But they're good. They drink a beer every quarter mile.
So they got to be cool.
So they're cool. And
yeah, they were very, very friendly, and seems like somebody you would just want to go have a beer with.
Well, they were friendly because they wanted money. So let's be honest. They're doing a Kickstarter. It's over. So sorry, guys, if you
actually,
didn't
I think
get.
It might still be going.
It's
middle of January, I think. So it should still be going.
I don't know. I mean, you don't.
And you should give them money because I want to see that movie happen.
I mean, I feel like it's just time now. They already filmed it.
No, they've put the trailer together. They've got a lot of footage
because people don't realize how long it takes.
Right, they have to They get the Kickstarter and the funds to finish making the movie. They've got the trailer and they've got a lot of the film already.
Follow the money. Okay,
right.
I'm following the money. I don't trust those guys.
You went from loving them, they're amazing, to no, I don't trust them.
I don't trust anybody. Kickstarter.
Well, I trust you guys.
But you can donate money to Audience of One, and that's donating.
Yes, make sure if you like what you're hearing, everybody.
We are a 501c1.
Like, share, follow, or even donate and sponsor.
Yeah.
Share the show with a friend.
Want to hide your money in tax stuff? 501c3 nonprofit right here.
You named it. You got it, buddy.
We're available
for all your embezzlement needs.
All your embezzlement needs. I love it. We didn't discuss this going into today's show. The New Year resolution and your goals, and then we never really have any goals for this show, which I love because I don't want to do this live anywhere else because. We talked about going to Ingenious Brewery and doing some interviews. I'm cool with the interview stuff, but do a show. I find myself, if I'm in public, I will say the wrong thing.
No way.
And
not you.
It will be remembered by people. And I really, I always say the wrong thing when I'm in public.
So is your goal, your New Year's resolution, to try and say the right thing more often?
No. But I want to be myself. I don't want to.
That's right, and that's what this show allows you to do.
Audience of One.
That's right.
Now we get it. I love it.
Yeah, man. So I gotta ask
personally,
you.
Let's talk about personal goals.
Oh no. I don't. So I don't really.
You don't do that?
I don't really do those. I mean,
well, I'll talk about mine then. Okay.
Oh boy. Do you need a couch to lie on?
No. I was actually talking to one of my buddies about this because. I've never been one of those people who do the New Year's resolution, like, oh, I'm going to work out or whatever. And I kind of said, because a lot happened last year.
Yes.
And I was like.
Personally, to you.
Personally, yeah. And I was talking to him about it, and he said something that really helped me. He's like, hey, just let the rest of the year be what it is and just kind of go through the motions. Okay. But then when the new year goes, like it's a new year, it literally is a new year for you.
Right.
So basically what I'm going to do is I'm transitioning into a woman.
Yes.
So I'm no longer be called Dick anymore. I'm going to be called Virginia.
Okay.
AKA Virginia.
I am a very progressive man, and I accept your change, Virginia. And
I'm just kidding. I really wanted to get you with that. I didn't do enough build up. I wanted to get your face, be like, oh, Dick. Man.
Doing it again, throwing out an old transition joke again.
I mean, they're low-hanging fruit. Man.
They really are.
Low-hanging peaches, man.
But we knock them out of the park, don't we?
Yeah. But no, the whole idea of resolutions are funny to me because I even told my buddy, I was like, well, if you want to hold each other accountable, we got to have real stakes here if we're going to do goals. And he's like, okay,
like Omaha steaks?
Well, or is it called steaks? Like high-end steaks?
Okay, yes.
And he's like, okay, what do you want to do? And I was like, well, if you don't do one of your goals, I'll break your legs.
Oh, my.
And
you definitely need an accountability buddy for things like this, but not someone who threatens violence against your legs.
Well,
God.
Well, I feel like the mafia
if you don't do this, I'm taking your knees out.
Well, the mafia
For you, though.
See, the mafia is doing something right.
It's like ultimate gaslighting, right? I'm doing this for you.
Right, like the mafia was doing something right when they put the fear into people to pay. So that's what Blockbuster should have done. Blockbuster should have got with the mafia
at the library.
Hey, how are you collecting your overdue stuff? Just send these guys. Just send Billy and Joe over here, break some legs. But so the mafia, I mean, they have good logic over there a lot of times and good principles. Like they get their money So you got to hit your goals.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah, they're not hurting for cash. They are definitely meeting their goals. You know, we talked earlier in the show about the Cybertruck and how dangerous it is, and I asked you, if you are the kind of guy who hits curves with your car, destroys the wheels, and got me thinking though. Have you ever hit an animal with your car? And I don't mean on purpose, like accidentally.
Yeah.
I guess we could say it was on purpose.
Well, I mean, I never hit an animal on purpose. Let's make that clear.
Yeah.
I've definitely hit squirrels. I've hit possums. I've hit deer. Probably the wildest one was I hit a deer in my father's truck. And there's two things that happened right when I hit it. Was I hit the back of the legs because it went that fast in the front left bumper. And then I check my rearview mirror, and I see that little guy tumbling down the ditch, like just like as if he got hit with something.
He did.
He did.
Yeah,
and
an F-150.
It was like ming, 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 and I kind of laughed. And then the next thing is now I got to explain to my dad that I hit something in his car, and wasn't my fault. It was a deer,
Right.
but I had to pay for it.
So let me ask you, in that scenario,
My dad does not care about circumstances. He's like,
it doesn't matter. The damage is the damage, no matter what. In that scenario, though,
you know what he did?
Don't point at me, man. Getting aggressive.
No,
Your New Year's resolution needs to be.
No, I'll never forget this.
Bring that down a little bit.
So in high school, he let me drive his truck, and his truck had one of those like solid covers for the bed.
It's called a tonneau. Mm-hmm.
Well, there's different kind. Like there's like this is like the actual. It looks like metal, and it's color of the car painted. Well,
Still a tonneau cover, but go ahead.
I got in an accident. My fault. I get it. It was my first accident I've ever been in. Just wasn't paying attention. Look left, look right, look left. Went straight, and I think really what happened is the guy ran the stop sign because there's no way I would have seen.
Yeah, of course not.
I didn't get in trouble. I didn't get a ticket because the officer's like, yeah, that's probably what happened. I was like, because he even said, oh, I didn't even see him pull out. I'm like, that's probably because you took the corner and didn't even stop at the stop sign. And well, anyway, I pay for their fix to the mechanical body shop. Well, the mechanical body shop people dug this thing through the tonal thing, like took off like chunks.
This thing through the
Whatever it
tonneau
was.
thing. I have no idea what you're talking about.
What do you call the flatbed cover? What do you call it?
The tonneau cover. Or tonneau.
Tonneau cover. Yes, I meant like chunks of the paint.
Oh.
And then they put this black sealant on it. So clearly they weren't even trying to hide it because it was.
Oh, so they damaged it.
So but he thought I did it in the wreck somehow.
Oh my gosh! Yeah.
And I was like, it was just a fender. What the hell are you talking about? And that was one of the craziest arguments I had with my father. It was like, why would I lie about this? I clearly was in an accident.
Yeah.
But I go, well, I'm not paying for that, because he wanted me to buy a whole new one. And those things were at that time
They're expensive.
And I was like, I didn't even do that. Maybe you did it. I don't know. And he's like, well, you try to cover it up with this black sealant. I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm going to do is cover a green top with black sealant, and maybe I'll get away with it.
You think a body shop would have done a better job than that?
Yeah.
So in the scenario that you described earlier of this deer that you hit in the back hind legs, if you look in your rearview mirror and you see the animal laying there in the street,
it was pretty funny.
Do you put it in reverse?
No.
And go and put it out of its misery? I've heard of people who will do that too because it's worse for the animal to suffer. They're like,
No,
put it in reverse and go back and finish the job.
They chose their fate by running in front of my car.
Oh man,
So,
I don't think I could do that.
Well, see, that's what's so funny is I saw the deer get up.
Oh, so he's cool. He's cool.
Well,
with
that's what I'm saying. Like I saw it tumble into the ditch, and then it just whoop and just went
Ran
on.
off.
And I was
Okay,
like,
you're good.
yeah,
You
I
got
was
lucky
like,
there.
What the heck? And but I never killed anything. Well, I mean, I ran over a
Yeah.
squirrel. That guy's dead.
Yeah, that's pretty dead. I haven't obviously I never killed anything
Really
on
wanna kill that
purpose
rat.
either. Yeah. But I have had, the squirrel incidents, I'm sure. But this reminds me of this story. It's one time I was in high school. And at the time I was driving an old F-150. And if you remember, like 1990, I think, or 89 or 90. And if you remember the style of those cars at the time, the side mirrors had big metal brackets, basically, for the side mirrors. You could fold them in and out. They almost
Yeah.
look like a triangle, right?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So I'm driving over to a friend's house, and I pull up into the driveway and roll down the window, and he comes over to start talking to me, and I look down, and as he's talking, I realize there is a dead bird that I must have hit hanging, like just
Oh, that's
hanging off of
That's
that
awesome.
side mirror, and he's just chatting away with me within inches of hitting this thing, and I'm like, hey, you may want to watch out there, and of course, looking down, nasty, this thing looked disgusting. Oh, that's the only time I can really remember hitting anything of consequence, but it was pretty nasty. I don't like, obviously, having to deal with that.
Yeah, you're not. You don't even want to touch a cockroach.
I don't like them. You, sir, sit on them for fun. Are you aware of who Lester Eubanks is?
No idea.
So Lester Eubanks, this came back up into the news because this is like the 45th anniversary of, or maybe it's the 50th anniversary, I think, of this guy's escape from prison. And it's kind of interesting. This was a bad dude. This was a guy who was charged with killing like a 14-year-old girl.
Aw.
I know, back in the early 70s, or 60s, sorry. And what's really interesting about this is on December 7th in 1973, he and a couple of other inmates were allowed to go to the mall to Christmas shop because they'd had good previous good behavior.
Yeah, they're trying it out.
Yeah, what could go wrong there? And two of the inmates come back. They report back at their scheduled time, but not old Lester. Lester's gone, and he's never been seen again. And this was a bad dude. Now, at this point, I'm sure he'd probably be in his 70s, I'm guessing, 70s. I don't know how old he is, but what the heck were they thinking? And apparently they've reopened the case a few years ago trying to find this guy. They've got
Well,
some.
I hope they
they've
don't
got some
close the
leads.
case ever.
Well, I mean, they're trying to find him, and they've got some. They think they're getting close. And I think there's actually some podcasts out there that are talking about how close they are to capturing this guy. But what the hell were they thinking?
Well,
letting inmates, especially murders,
so-
you guys go out to the mall and just shop. Meet me here at 1:30 by the doo-doo mushroom and in the mall.
Yeah, a good joke. I like
Yeah,
it.
and the mall map, and we'll go back to prison. What the hell?
Well, at that time,
I can't say that I blame him, to be honest
At
with you.
that time, there was an arcade.
Yeah, back then there was probably.
Actually, the 70s. I don't know. But what's funny, though, is the idea of convicts escaping in the 70s and 80s
Uh-huh.
that are still out there. Technology is really going to get them. Because remember that one serial killer from California recently got busted? Like, it was like 3 years ago, he got busted because his nephew or something did the 23andMe.
Oh, wow.
And his DNA, I guess the police have access to that stuff, and it got hit that the killer. But they knew it wasn't the kid because the nephew was born after the murders, and then they questioned him, and they're like, "Well,
So they got this guy based off of his 23andMe DNA.
Yeah.
So I have to admit, if I am a person who has committed that type of crime and I'm on the run, I'm not doing a DNA test. And then, if my spouse or whatever
it
is
might
like,
not have been his
honey,
nephew."
don't you want to know about your family? Nope, don't care. Because you're putting that out there.
You still have your genes though, so your DNA is going to be similar to your nephew. So he might not even know he had a nephew, but he left his DNA all over the crime scenes, and they collected it. And 50 years later, they
Oh, so he didn't do the DNA test. His nephew did.
his nephew did.
Okay, sorry. I must have missed that.
And so they questioned the nephew, and then they found out he had
Wow.
this is who we're looking for, and then they found him. So yeah, this guy. So it's interesting now in today's world, when those guys.
Because he's been in prison for a long
Like,
time. He doesn't understand technology, and he's in his 70s or 80s, right?
I this is when I realized I don't like the way I think
get caught.
sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Because
This is why it makes for compelling radio.
because I lost my wallet. Remember, I lost my wallet last year,
That's right.
and I had to redo my license. Well, I was trying to do it online, but apparently you can't just resubmit it. You have to have the 15-digit code that I never had a copy of it.
That's right.
So I actually had to go back into the dealio, into the DPS, and they wanted my fingerprints. And I was like, no, you're not getting my fingerprints.
They're all over that Tesla Cybertruck outside anyways.
Yeah. And I'm like, I literally I almost wanted to fight this. And I was like, why do you need my fingerprints?
Because you know that's going to be held against you later down
Well,
the
I
road,
was like,
man.
I go, this is suspicious. And she's like, no, we just need it to. And I'm like, no, you don't. You don't need my thumbprint and my fingerprints for anything.
What are you up to, man?
I know, but I'm
What
saying
are you up to?
But it got me thinking.
You did get stopped at the mall map a couple weeks ago.
No,
Now you refuse to give prints.
Yeah.
You claim you don't know who Lester Eubanks is.
But it got me thinking. All these criminals that are out there, and they're like, oh, I can't even get a driver's license under a fake name
Right.
because you're gonna have to take my fingerprints. And I'm not saying that the DPS is nefarious with my fingerprints. I just don't like to give my fingerprints.
You think your prints will be on like a cardboard printout somewhere in the back of someone's truck, and they'll be driving along and it'll fly out, and someone now has your. your prints.
Basically, those kind of details sometimes bite you in the butt. So,
Interesting.
Yeah.
Dick doesn't want his prints on file.
Well, because it got me thinking about the Beer Mile guys and going to Canada, and I'm like, no, I'm not getting a passport.
It'd be so great if we do actually show up there in Canada next year, and I show up like, hey, guys, Chris Adam, what's going on?
And I legally get there?
No. Yeah, and they're like, where's Dick? He's at the border.
Yeah.
He refused to cross because they asked for his prints, and so he's going to zoom it in. He is drinking out of a helmet, though.
I told you about my idea about the Zoom robot.
Zoom robot.
I told you about that.
Probably.
During the pandemic, I had this idea. What is it, a decade ago, the Segways were a popular thing?
Yes.
And now there's probably thousands of Segways just nowhere, not being used. So you just make a robot out of it and have like an iPad. And,
you
can drive it around.
Yeah.
And so like you can go to you can be in person at places.
Kind of a genius guy. You know, the inventor of the Segway died
Well, we all die.
on a Segway.
That's,
He flew off the edge of a cliff on his Segway. So I guess we know how Elon Musk is eventually going to go, I suppose.
space. Wouldn't that be wild?
Oh, man. On one of his little ventures up there.
That's what sucks about space, especially like the private sector space. If something bad happens up there, everyone's gonna have like a bad taste in their mouth. Like, oh, we shouldn't do that. Because I think that's what happened with like, was it Apollo 13? Not 13. Was it 11 that blew up?
Yes.
So it's like people are like, we shouldn't be doing this. And I'm like, well, these guys knew the risk. They're going to a place there's not even oxygen.
Yeah.
Like, it's already going to be dangerous.
Did you hear? I think I may actually have it on the run sheet, and it was left over from a previous week. Did you hear about the tomato that was lost at the space station? This guy was making dinner, cooking, and he, I guess, lost a tomato because, things in space float around, and he couldn't find it. And he said he spent upwards of 17 to 20 hours looking for this thing. They have finally located the lost tomato
Is it so
in
good?
the space station. Oh, yeah, he ate it immediately. I don't know. I mean, I'm guessing it's not, but that sucker floated around in
cool.
space, and they were hunting for it.
Man, see, like, but again,
I've got the story. I'd have to dig it up.
If Elon
but-
Musk died in space, people would probably cheer now because this month
he's so hated.
We hate him.
Yeah, this month.
But like, it's one of those like people are gonna be like, oh, we shouldn't be doing that. I'm like, yeah, that's like you're going what? Like when people were talking about the submarine people,
Yep.
like submarine exploded. I'm like, yeah, they were in a submarine going to like one of the deepest parts of the ocean. Like they knew the risks.
Yeah, he didn't care. He was like, "Now give me a video game controller. Let's do this."
Well, I mean, eventually that's where it's gonna go.
Eventually, what, to the bottom of the ocean?
No, I mean like to control that kind of stuff. That's what.
At some point. That's probably why I thought, this is the way technology works. This is where we're headed. Staying on this theme of convicted felons, do you remember the big news last year? It's kind of like a year in review.
Yeah.
Do you remember the big story about Sam Bankman-Fried?
Yeah.
The FTX cryptocurrency guy who got sentenced to, I believe it was 110 years in prison. Thank goodness he's a young guy, so I'm sure he'll see that sentence
Let me ask
through.
you this: so this guy, when he got busted, and you learn all the history. I don't know if a lot of people know his history. So he's wealthy family,
Yeah,
all
lawyers.
that kind of stuff.
Parents are lawyers or professors of law.
The fact that he did the Bahama deal and they had those like orgy parties or whatever.
Sure did.
Or not orgy party. What would he call it? Like they were open relationships.
I mean, if enough people are involved, I suppose it's...
Because I'm not saying it was just
Call
a
it whatever.
party. Like they didn't have one party. Like if you lived there, all those people were like in open relationships with each other.
I didn't go into too much
So it
research
got-
on that part
well,
of it.
got me
But
thinking. It's like, is that a money thing? Like you make all this money,
Mm-hmm.
and then you kind of like lower the barriers of expectations. It's like I'm a billionaire, and I can kind of do whatever I want, and I'm just kind of like, we're gonna go to Bahamas, we're gonna live here.
that's... yeah.
Or do you think that he would have lived that lifestyle even if like you've been a furry or something like that? Because all those people are kind of weird.
Yeah, so they do say that money just enhances whatever type of trait that you currently have. So he was already that kind of guy. I would do a radio show, but I'd do an even better radio show because I'd be a billionaire. I don't know, man.
Clearly,
I'd like to think that I would be a good person. I really do. I'd like to think that I would buy everything that I need, but then I would be very generous with my money and give it away, et cetera, et cetera. But, man, there's a real chance I could be an ass.
I wouldn't give away a cent.
There's a good chance I'd be a real ass.
Yeah, I wouldn't give
Probabilities are pretty high. I don't know. I honestly don't know, man.
Because you don't want anyone knowing you have money. So that's the
Yeah,
key
yeah.
element. Like, you don't even know if I have money or not, which is
Not
good.
on you. Except for that killer watch you're wearing. That screams opulence.
It does.
It does. It says, I worked for the post office for 50 years.
No, what I love about this watch
Here's
is
my watch.
a lot of, like, my brother, and then, like I said, I have 3 brothers, by the way. If people I talk about them a lot. But anyway, they're all talking about watches. And I was like, oh, cool, I can be in this conversation. I got a watch.
Look at me.
And then they made fun of me because apparently...
Oh, it's not an Apple Watch or something,
no,
right?
No. A couple of them really liked it a lot because it's a priceless thing. But apparently these watches made so long ago are like the smallest... I forgot what they called it.
The face on them is small.
They're
yes.
small. Mm-hmm. And they started throwing numbers around. I'm like, why would I want a bigger one?
Yeah.
And they're like, well, the bigger, the better. Like, one guy was like,
I disagree.
I guess.
So for me, I'm not a very large man, and 9 out of every 10 watches I try on are just massive. They've gotten bigger and bigger too, and I try them on. It's like, good God, it's wider than my
Yeah,
wrist.
I mean, this thing's from the 50s, I think.
And then I try on a woman's watch. I'm like, well, this looks like a man's watch, and it fits. So it's hard for me to be able to find a man's watch that actually fits. Most of them, I tend getting the unisex watches, what they call them, and they're a little bit smaller faced. Yeah, that looks fine on you, right? It doesn't look small. It looks like it fits.
I get multiple compliments because I never wear watches.
Yeah, I know. I noticed it.
And people notice it now, and I'm like, this is weird. They're not saying it about my face. So.
Oh, good. It takes the attention away from your face.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Well, Sam Bankman-Fried is kind of back in the news again.
Is he doing orgies in jail?
Well, I'm sure he might be. But this is funny, though. This is funny. It's being reported that the ex-CEO is reportedly using mackerel to pay for a haircut in jail. So instead of trading cigarettes, he's using mackerel. And yes, mackerel meaning the fish, I guess. Really weird.
I'm going to look it up.
Yeah. What are you looking up?
Well, like, maybe mackerel is like dried mackerel or something. I don't know. It sounds really gross.
Well, the facility that houses him is notorious for poor living conditions, and it's been called inhumane by public defenders. There's staff shortages, power outages, maggots in the food, and I'm thinking, well, maggots in the food, then why the heck is mackerel being used as currency? I don't know. I guess because now they probably can't smoke anymore.
Well, it's smart because that means you got to spend it. Because whoever the stinkiest person in prison is probably the one that has the most mackerel. So that's a target right there.
There you go.
So.
I just thought it was funny. He's trading fish for a haircut, which is good because that guy's floppy hair was pretty bad.
Come on, don't judge someone the way it looks.
I mean,
Just because he made a lot of money by stealing it.
So, Dick, we talked a few weeks ago about weird noises in the house and how I was hearing noises lately, and of course it turned out to be the massive amount of acorns falling on my roof. Have you ever heard noises in your house and had the weird thought of, I think someone's living in my attic? Or basement, if you have one of those. Have you ever had that weird, strange thought?
Nope.
I think someone's
Yeah, we talked
living
about this on one of the first episodes.
Really?
Yeah.
We
did? That person living
It was
under
so
in the
2023.
attic.
Oh, yeah, we did.
Or the attic,
well,
the
found,
basement.
Oh, that's right. They was living underneath the house.
Like straight up going to work, doing all their stuff.
That's so weird. Was a homeless guy living underneath their house?
No, that person had a job.
No. The one I thought was just a homeless guy. He was just living there.
Oh, no, this person had
Well, that was a different story. Like he was going to work and stuff, and then at night would come and live underneath somebody's house. Oh, my God. Well, along those same lines, a family was doing renovations on their house, and they brought up the flooring, and wouldn't you know, they found a 12-foot hot tub underneath the floors in their house. Now, no one was living there, which would have been really cool if you found a dude there with his arms up and his legs up. What's going on? But how crazy is this, man? And you know what's funny about this is a while ago you asked me what I would do if I had endless amounts of money. Didn't I say that I would build a swimming pool hot tub in my house and then just floor over it? You remember that? And you're like, oh, that's a baller move. I was like, yeah, so that way when I'm having my fancy cocktail parties, I could tell people, right below us is a swimming pool, don't you? They're like, whoa, that's how rich I am. I just build a pool and then floor over it.
You know what's even crazier
Well,
than
that's
that?
what actually happened.
Michael Bublé.
Bublé, yes.
He was on one of the Barstool things, and he has an ice rink in his basement.
An ice rink? Whoa, can you imagine the cost to keep that thing cold? But when you got
Well, that's why I put it
Buble money.
That's why I put it in the basement.
Oh, well, that does help, I suppose. Yeah. Man, you got a really I wonder how his triple sow cow is. He's down there practicing every single day.
Well, he was making a joke because he was like, "Oh, I never really wanted to be a singer. I wanted to play hockey, but I was terrible."
Oh, I immediately went to figure skating.
Yeah, because
Hockey.
again, you're judging people.
No, I just assumed.
No, you're a judger. It's all right. Some people judge. Some people get judged. It's fine. Dog eat dog world. We get it. But yeah, he has an ice rink, which is pretty baller. To me, that's like even better than a swimming pool.
Yeah, I think so. Well, this is an old dried up one, but I just thought it was kind of interesting.
Okay.
This was in Arkansas, and this was a home that was built, newly purchased in the 1980s. Why would they word it like that?
Well, what I like
The home was
about those,
custom built
because
for
there's
the
always
previous owner.
stories about, oh, they built over a well and things like that. You've seen that.
Right.
And
Yes.
so what I love is these contractors or whatever, these builders of houses are like, hey, what do you want to do about this?
Yeah, let's just put some tongue and groove over it.
Because
It'll be fine.
I think the coolest one I saw is somebody built over a Monopoly board.
Yeah, you told me about that. Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah.
And you wondered why they would have.
Why would you cover up the Monopoly board?
Because you're a
bro?
super huge Monopoly fan. Come to find out,
Well, it's just unique.
it is unique.
Like everyone who listens.
But you assumed that they were going to use it for playing the actual game, and I said it was probably just there for decor. You're like, no, why have it if you're not going to play with it?
Yeah,
I'm like, well, because maybe they just like the way it looks. Dick.
I guess.
I don't know.
No, but like still, like everyone that lives in this world probably has boring houses. They don't have Monopoly boards.
True that.
So, what would you have in your house to make sure people knew you were interesting?
I told you already. Exactly. I would build a pool and floor
That's
over
the
it.
only thing you
That's
would
it.
do?
That's all I got.
I guess.
No, maybe I'd have a trapeze. That'd be kind of cool. And I'd have like some.
Trapeze.
Yeah, man. Then I'd have people actually perform. I wouldn't do it. And I'd have them behind a curtain. And so when I had my dinner parties, the curtain would just slowly open, and there'd be people swinging back and forth.
That's cool.
Pretty baller. Do you remember the San Francisco Doom Loop? This is our year in review. The Doom Loop, we talked about it. And basically, this was a tour that was put on by someone in the city, unnamed person, to go for $30. They could tour the slums and the drug areas of San Francisco.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, man, it was pretty
They give
funny.
you your own block.
Yeah, you could get into a bus, and the guy would just tour you around and show you all of the guys doing meth right there on the street.
Can you imagine? Like, here's the deal right here. Ready? Look,
Yeah.
I'm the bus driver. Okay, I'm driving.
This is a visual. He's driving.
I'm driving.
Yep,
And I
see
turn
his
around.
profile. Mm-hmm.
I'm like, you guys ready to see some cockroaches? And then it's like, click. And like all the lights go on.
Oh, and the bus is covered in them.
And it's like you see everybody. You see the full detail of the street.
Oh, nasty. Well, what I think is interesting, and the reason this came back up in the news, is this person was outed and ID'd, and it was actually a San Francisco city commissioner. And of course,
Sounds important.
yeah, and of course, he was immediately fired. It was a walking tour, actually. I thought it was in like a bus. I wouldn't want to do that.
Well, again, they give you
out
your
of
own
conflict.
block.
Yeah, they would have to.
They have to.
Yeah, leading him to resign with a blistering letter from the progressive city's deplorable conditions and rampant criminality. Well, sorry about that. Couple quick hits here before the end of the show. Dick, do you remember having to do burpees when you were a kid? In like PE class, middle school. It's like an elementary school.
No. I know it's like is it a workout?
Yeah, it's like where you, oh God, how do I describe it? You go down to the ground, touch the ground with your hands, jump up, raise your arms into the air.
You do a push-up, don't you?
And then, yeah, maybe you can do, there's different versions, I
Yeah.
think, where you do a push-up, stand up, jump, sit down, push up, jump.
Yeah.
It involves something on ground contact and jumping up in the air, basically over and over again.
Okay.
Well, what I didn't realize was this was actually created by a man named Royal Huddleston Burpee. His name was actually Burpee. I thought this was pretty cool. And, of course, he lived long ago. I'm trying to think. It says back in the 30s. He was a fitness expert. But his granddaughter, Cheryl Burpee, is also a fitness expert. And she is trying to get the word out about her paternal grandfather and all the work that he did and his contributions to exercises. So next time you're told to do a burpee, maybe we should do some burpees right now. You can think there's actually a dude named
I'm starving
Burpee.
right now, and the next show is supposed to bring me food, and guess what?
What's that?
She didn't.
Oh, no.
So
Last story here before we go, everyone. have you ever wondered, Dick, why when you're at the bar, you see a bartender, he's finished up a bottle, will grab something and clank, 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 clank. And
Yeah, it's for the TBC, whatever it is, the Texas
keep
Texas
going.
alcohol,
This is fun.
whatever, TABC.
There you go.
Yeah.
So, but you ever wonder...
I've taken the bartender online course.
so you're completely certified.
I think it might be
But
up
what is it for?
now.
You said it's for the TABC, but why? Why do they do it? Because it looks pretty awesome?
If I remember correctly, is to mark the bottle as used, and that it's like basically you can't reuse it.
That's correct. So it's actually the sign of good bartending for bartenders to do that. If you are at a bar and you see them not doing that, it's actually kind of frowned upon. And that's so that, yes, the bottles have been marked as used so that someone won't take a high-end bottle of liquor and put rot gut back in it, and therefore you think you're paying for a certain liquor when you are not. But I saw that a few weeks ago and was like, oh yeah, why do they do that? So I looked it up, and now you know. Awesome, Dick. This was fun, buddy. I'm glad we were able to get all our shows in over the holidays, and our onesies were not deprived of entertainment.
It was fun. I encourage everyone to enjoy the rest of the year. This is the last episode
No,
of
this
Audience
is the first
of One.
episode of the year.
Of the year. Sorry, man.
Remember we talked about New Year,
I meant
all
forever.
that stuff?
I meant forever.
Yeah, this is it. Bye-bye, guys. We're signing off.
Yeah.
Now, it is pretty cool that we've now made it into 2024.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. It's been a fun run, and it's going to continue at least one more week. Till next week, onesies. Bye-bye.
Bye.